Let's learn about the brachial plexus. You mean this thing? C5 to T1, and these, what do you call it, cords? And all of this madness? Well, let's learn more about it. The brachial plexus, it's innervation of the upper limb, so it's very important that we learn about this. All right, C5 to T1, these are our start points. First, it starts off with roots. C5 to C6 connect, and C8 to T1 do as well. Those become trunks. C7 continues on and also becomes a trunk. The C5 to C6 roots connect and they become the superior trunk. C7 continues on and becomes the middle trunk. C8 and T1 connect and they become the inferior trunk. So now the trunk splits off into two, and there are, for the two, one anterior and one posterior. The anteriors are circled. The posteriors are squared. The first two anterior connect from C5 and C7. The posterior portions of the superior, middle, inferior trunks all connect. All three of them do. That leaves the anterior of the inferior trunk to go on by itself. Now, we have a thing called cords. So we have a lateral cord, a medial cord, and a posterior cord. The posterior cord holds all of the inferior divisions. So now, the lateral and medial cord combine. From there, they merge. These portions are branches, and the middle portion becomes the median nerve. From the initial part of the lateral branch becomes the musculocutaneous nerve. The medial portion becomes ulnar nerve. The posterior cord becomes the radial nerve, and a branch of that is the axillary nerve. So, a bit confusing, right? How about we try this again? But this time in color. Alright, C5 through T1, your cervical vertebrae, 5 through 8, as well as your thoracic vertebrae. You have 5 of them that are your start points and your origins. Hopefully color helps out this time. Alright, first we start off with your roots. C5 and C6 combine. C8 and T1 combine. And then C7 continues on by itself. From here, we have your trunks, which is just circled. There are 3 parts of the trunk. C5 to C6 that were just connected are the superior trunk. C7 is the middle trunk. C8 and T1 are the inferior trunk. The trunk then splits off into 2. The 2 parts of each trunk are anterior and posterior. The anterior portions of your superior and middle division combine. The anterior portion of your inferior trunk continues on by itself. The posterior portions of all 3 trunks combine. And now you have 3. It always goes back to 3. These 3 are cords. You have a lateral, posterior, and medial cord. Your lateral cord as well as your medial cord combine. To remember all 5 of these nerves, remember Marmot. We'll explain that later on when we're showing a trick on how to memorize the brachial plexus. So, there are actually other nerves included in the brachial plexus. They were just not included in our lecture, but a couple of them include the lateral pectoral nerve as well as the median cutaneous nerve. So you're probably wondering, there must be an easier way to do this. Is there? Well, the answer is yes. Alright, let's draw it out. C5 through T1. let's put down RTDCB, roots, trunks, divisions, chords, and branches. An easy way to remember this is remember to drink cold beer. All right, let's combine C5C6 and C8T1. C7 continues on. Under divisions, put an X, and under that, put a slash. Under branches, make a wave, and starting at the C7 line, make a smaller wave. I'm just going to erase beer so that I can continue to draw the nerves. All right, remember when I said before, Marmu? Well, that's an easy way to remember the 5 nerves. M is for musculocutaneous nerve, and it originates from the lateral cord, C5 to C7. A is for axillary. It originates from C5 to C6. Also, it supplies deltoid and teres minor, the muscles. R is radial nerve, C5 to T1. It also supplies the posterior compartments of the arm and the forearm. The second N is median. It originates from C5 to T1, all of it, and it supplies the anterior compartment of the forearm. Last but not least is the ulnar nerve, which originates from C8 to T1, that supplies intrinsic muscles of the hand. So there's an easy way to remember things.